shutters. Ron's going to take it nice and slow so you can take a picture. So voilà, 24 Sussex avec la fenêtre blanche là. This is the only embassy in Canada where the ambassador lives and works. It's the home and the office. C'est le seul ambassade au Canada où l'ambassadeur travaille et habite. C'est la maison et le bureau. By the way, Niagara Falls, 7 hours from Ottawa, and they're a little bigger. If you do the Ottawa River Cruise, the boat goes right up to the waterfalls, just like the Maid of the Mist. So si tu fais la croisière sur la rivière de Bateau. We have the Royal Canadian the 1840s. That church is the most popular church in Ottawa to get married at. There's a 3-year waiting list to get married at this church. They even have a saying for it. First you book the date, then you find your mate. So à gauche, le basilique Notre-Dame, l'église.
There's a church booked 3 years ahead of time.
Look how you wait 3 years to get married at this church. You come out of the church on your wedding day. First thing you see a giant black widow spider. Good omen. Ça donne 3 ans pour le mariage de Notre-Dame. Tu sors l'église le jour de ton mariage. Première chose que tu vois, le ranier.
Is that $3 million for a spider? Yeah. Michelle would like that. Michelle would like this.
Right now, le terrain, et c'est le FBI et le CIA qui ont des bureaux souterrains. Pour cela, tu vas trouver tout le bon chose et on va là maintenant. By the way, all this is a 5-minute walk from our kiosk. At the end of the tour, if you want to walk back here, 5 minutes, really close. So tout ça, c'est 5 minutes pour le kiosque. À la fin de la tour, si tu veux retourner ici, c'est très simple, 5 minutes. Coming up straight ahead, we have Clarence Street, known for its outdoor eating places. On a nice day like today, Clarence is really good with all the patios. So ici, c'est le rue Clarence, un restaurant avec les terrasses. So c'est bon pour manger dehors. On our right, Empire Grill, really good steakhouse. So à droite, l'Empire Grill, très bon steak là. There's no shortage of Irish pubs here on the market. Ça, il manque pas les pubs irlandaises ici dans le marché. Alright, so here's Clarence Street. So you see the little Clarence. So as you can see, a lot of nice restaurants here. Il y a des bons restaurants. Clarence. On our left right here, steak. They have really good steak. À gauche, le restaurant steak là, il y a des très bons steaks. Hello, girls. Eyes forward, Ron. Eyes forward. Now, the next one is poutine. French fries, gravy, and cheese curds all melted together. Super good. Second is a beaver tail. It's like a pancake. You can put anything you want on it. We're going to go by the beaver tail shack in a minute. So if you have a sweet tooth, check them out. So once you've had the poutine, then the beaver tail, you'll feel excellent. Just don't ride the bus after. There's a really nice Italian restaurant on our left called The Brand. They're pretty good. Yeah, the restaurant Italien à gauche, The Brand. Très bon là. And coming up on our right, you're going to see the beaver tail shack. So definitely get one. Get the one with bananas and Nutella. That's the best one. So à droite, voilà the beaver tails. So you see, très bon et pas c'est right there. So à droite, the beaver tails. And there's the Byward Market, so the marché by. And all this is 5 minutes from the kiosk. So 5 minutes from the kiosk. There's the rest of the market right there. So voilà encore plus le marché. So now, does anybody want to hop out? Quelqu'un veut débarquer? Canada. So maintenant, l'édifice le plus détesté en Canada. On your right, the big castle, Canada Revenue Agency, the tax building. It's called the Connaught building. They say, once your money goes in, you cannot get it back. So feel free to boo at it. So voilà, à droite, le bureau des impôts. Ooh. So every April 30th, that's where all the money goes. So tout le 30 avril, c'est là où l'argent va. Don't look too long, you'll turn to stone. All right, on the map, the Rideau Canal. And the canal starts right there, downtown Ottawa, and goes all the way down to Kingston. 200 kilometers to the south, right across from New York State. In the summertime, it's remote. In the winter, it's the world's largest skating rink. 45,000 people a day go skating on the canal every February. So you see the canal dans l'été, c'est pour les bateaux, et dans l'hiver, c'est le plus grand patinoire dans le... When it gets cooler, we'll close down the dams at the lake. No more water will come into the canal. When we have freezes, then we can go skating in February. Dams at the lake and water will come rushing back into Ottawa. It takes 8 hours to fill the canal with water. Then boats can start using it again. So maintenant, le canal, c'est là, Eva. C'est-à-dire... country in the world where cricket is not the official sport, not even the official sport of Canada. To the lowest bridge in Ottawa. Whoops. Okay, good, because here's the lowest bridge.
Redone lately, and it used to be the cemetery of Montreal here. Leaving to you that monument there, that's Monseigneur Bouchette. He used to be in charge of the Catholic Church in the 1800s. He put his cathedral, what you see on your left, right in the middle of the Anglo-Saxon community to show the power of the Catholic Church over the city. Cathedral. It's 1/3 of the Vatican of Rome, they say, the exterior. He sent an architect, a French-Canadian architect, to see the view of the Vatican of Rome, and he came back and he built this building. Now look at the dome in the back, the green dome there. That was imported from Italy. And all the men on top, these are the parishes that paid for the construction of this cathedral, which is very beautiful outside. And the building on the building now, we're going to be passing in front of it after the Bell Center. That's the Windsor station. And it was a construction right in front to the right. Windsor Station. It used to be the train station in the beginning of the 1900s. It's chateau-style architecture. It's now offices. Bell Center, right here on your right. Bell Center, where our hockey players, les Canadiens de Montréal, the Canadians of Montreal, play hockey of the province of Quebec. They're the first team that started playing in 1909. They never stopped playing under that name. So there's a museum, the Hall of Fame's in there, beside the Bell Center, that talks to you about hockey from the beginning till now. Hockey players of the Canadiens of Montreal. You have Guy Lafleur, Jean Béliveau, Maurice Rocket Richard, and Howie Moritz. And the CHC is the Club of Hockey Canadian. And in the back there's a souvenir shop if you want to get anything, souvenir on the Habs. The Canadiens of Montreal used to be called, or always called, the Habs. With the Hall of Fames. And that's where we have all our big rock stars, Celine Dion, Bon Jovi, Sir Paul McCartney, and we had lately Jennifer Lopez and Enrique Iglesias. So anybody getting off at the Bell Center, please lift your hand. I don't have anybody getting off, Salvatore, thank you. Beautiful building, it's offices now. And on your left you have the St. Church. It was built in the 1850s. It's a Gothic style architecture. Used to be the Anglican parish here in the 1850s. Canada. We have a lot of parks in Montreal, but this is the two parks, Square Dorchester and Place Canada, that are very popular. Right in the middle of the center of the city. You can come and sit down and have. So that's really nice, you know, to have these greenery. Right here on your right, you have the monument of the first Prime Minister of Canada, Mr. MacDonald. And he's looking on the other side in the Square Dorchester at Mr. Laurier. Mr. Laurier also was next Prime Minister of Canada. MacDonald the first and Mr. Laurier, another English looking at French, like the two tallest solitudes of Quebec. And we're going to be the Sunlight Building on your left. You look at it from here, how big it is. When I said biggest building in the era of Brittany. And on the other side, well, on the right you have the cathedral with the dome, imported from Italy. Banquillos Hotel. That hotel is where Yoko Ono and John Lennon wrote the song Peace in 1969 in the room 1742. And on your left you have the first skyrise of Montreal, Place Ville-Marie. It's a construction and cross to let the light in. Yo Ping-Ming, the architect, Sino-American, did also a plaza under that links to the underground, to the train station and to the Fairmont Hotel on your right. And that was the beginning in those days, 1962, of the underground city. Everybody else after followed his example, and all the buildings had a plaza under that linked together. Now we have 33 kilometers, more than 20 miles of underground city. René Lévesque used to be Prime Minister of Quebec in the 1980s, and he's the one that wanted the separation of Canada, Quebec with Canada. That did not happen. He's deceased now. But when he was minister under Jean Lesage in the 1960s, he's the one that wanted to have the nationalize the electricity. Well, he did so, and we have the offices of Hydro-Quebec right in front of you, to the left with the orange Q. Now, what in front, to the left, in front? Q, the orange Q, look, right there. Okay, you got it. So why do they want to nationalize the electricity? Because we have a lot of water in the province of Quebec. Just to give you an example, in the Laurentians, to the north of Montreal, to the left, we have 9,000 lakes. It gives you an idea of how much. Patrick Basilica, it was constructed in 1847. It's a Catholic English church. Naturally, St. Patrick, patron of the Irish. I was first for the Irish. Still open, still people go there every day for masses. Asia. Now they come here to sell their things. They don't really live here, and for the restaurants and whatever. Really cute little place to come and visit and see the souvenir shops. So this is a stop in Chinatown if anybody wants to get off. There's a nice walking street, de la Gauchetière. Really nice. Anybody, the hill you'd be beside the Notre Dame Basilica. I'll show you that later. We're going around there. And in front of you, you can see that beige building. It's our wedding cake. We call it our wedding cake. It's the Aldred building. It's offices in there. And it used to be, it was constructed in the beginning of the 1900s, and it's Art Deco. La Chute, and in the evening it throws fire and water, and it's really something to see. Thank you, Salvatore. So Jean-Paul Riopel was a French Canadian known internationally, always seen with a glass of wine and a cigarette in his hands. On the Square Victoria, that's the financial district of Montreal. And you're going to see the sculpture of Yu Ming on your left, Tai Chi style sculptures. Square Victoria. That was given by the people of France that helped us construct a subway from 1962 to 1967. So it's Grimard, the sculpture, it's Art Nouveau, and it's called the Metropolitan. So you could say the Métropolitain de Paris if you want. And you're going to see that when we turn on your left. And on the other side, you're going to see the statue of Queen Victoria. She was our queen in the 1800s. And we have this monument of her put right there. On your right, the monument of Queen Victoria. On your left, the subway of France. The only open subway that you have to take out the snow in winter. On your right, and on your left, the Jean-Paul Riopel Park with his monument right there, very small little band. And again, we're following Le Palais des Congrès on your left. And I want you to notice the street lights. On your right, the old street lights for Old Montreal, and on your left, the modern street light for the modern Montreal. So we're going to our next stop, which is the Notre Dame Basilica, constructed in the 1830s. It's the oldest church and the nicest one north of Mexico. All hand-carved wood inside. People come from all over to listen to people sing without music in this church. And it's James O'Donnell, the architect, that came to build it. It's Gothic-style architecture, and it was built in the 1830s. And he was Protestant from New York, but he became Catholic to be buried under his church after he deceased. So he's buried under there. If you want to go, you just get off and go up the hill, and you'll be at the Notre Dame Basilica. The doors of the Chinese, that's Chinatown. We have 4 doors. And this is one of them, the door of the south. On your left and on your right, you have the modern courthouse Montreal, constructed in the 1970s. The next one over is the first courthouse Montreal, constructed in the 1850s. And if you go up the stairs, you'll be on Champ de Mars, where the militaries used to do their exercises in the 1700s, French military. We were French from 1642 to 17. Frontenac in Quebec and the Chateau d'Orléans in Ottawa. This building is very important because these buildings encourage the people of the 19th beginning to take the train and visit the rest of Canada, and to spend their money. Courts that are for sale and for rent and go around. And on your right, you have the Musical Market. First interior market in 1850. So we're going to be passing in front on your right of the Place Jacques Cartier. I'll tell you in a minute because I don't want you to miss it. Have something to drink in the afternoon, relax and look at the crowd and the people playing music, singing, painting, all kinds of activities in the afternoon and evening here. Place Jacques Cartier used to be an exterior market in the 1900s. Bus and go right away right to the buildings and look for the writing to know where to put their merchandise. And why is it so grey, Old Montreal? Because there was a big fire in 1852. Two-thirds of Old Montreal was destroyed after there was a law. Everything had to be constructed with the limestone of Montreal, which is very grey. Museum. That's where they relate the history of Montreal from 1642 till now. Now, don't forget that it's Paul de Chamédie, Sieur de Maisonneuve, that came here in 1642, sent by the Society of Notre Dame of France, and he founded Montreal, put his first fort right there where the museum is. Carrière, Pointe à Carrière. Carrière was a man that did the peace treaty in 1701 with John Young. He was in charge of the most important port of Canada here in Montreal in 1850, and that's where the boats paid their dues in the back there. The boats could not go west because of the rapids of Montreal. They were very strong, so everybody stopped here. And on your left you have the Habitat 67. That's a very important building because it's heritage of the world now. And on your left, you have the silo of grain number 5. That reminds us of the American Revolution. When the Americans, when the people that wanted to stay loyal to the Queen of England in what we call the United States. That brings us to Champlain Bridge, and after that, you can pick up the 132 West and go and pick up the 87 South and go to New York. We have a lot of Montrealers that go to New York every weekend. And a lot of New Yorkers that come to Montreal take 6 hours during the night and 8-9 hours during the day because of the border, that sometimes there's really a lot of people. The 1930s to go to the South Shore of Montreal. And on your right you have the Habitat 67. That's the mayor of the time, Jean Drapeau, that did a competition in between universities of Montreal in the Faculty of Architecture. It's Moshe Safdie, 23 years old, that won the competition. He brought big blocks of cement here, bolted them together, and it's what you see now. Used to be was supposed to be a community center for people that had financial difficulties, but there was no buses that went to Montreal from here, so they sold them really cheap as condominiums. No, there's nobody there. The waves are not very strong today. It's surprising. So the building to the left there, the round ball that you see in front of the bus to the left, That's the Biosphere. That's the old pavilion of the United States of America during the World's Fair of 1967. Biosphere. And after that, we're going to see the Casino de Montreal. It's on your right, in the front of the bus also. So is anybody getting off at the casino?